Hello, everyone. Well, it's Sunday. I am clearly hanging out in my most comfy clothes that cannot hold on to a microphone very well, so it's kind of sticking right in my throat. I hope you can hear. But I had to come to you today because something amazing happened. And I know how often we are out there trying to bring Jesus to the world and we blow it. Like we do something that the person is just not interested in. I remember in the beginning of my journey, I was trying to catechize, trying to teach people what Catholicism was, instead of just loving with my heart and sharing what God has done in my life. And so one of these moments was recent. I've learned a lot, and I want to share that you will make mistakes. You may put a person off, but I guarantee you've dropped a seed. Whether that person gets angry with you or walks away, they are going to remember the conversation, because all too often, so many conversations are just bleh. They have no real substance. No one challenges beliefs anymore because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Well, I'm all about sharing what God has done in my life so that others can find the same peace and joy and freedom from addictions, freedom from worrying about what other people think about you all the time, all of this insecurity. Oh, it's just amazing. Why I wrote my book. Why I wrote my book. Let me get my book. Here's my book. I wasn't even thinking of putting the book on here because it really wasn't about it. But this is why I wrote my book, so that I could help others find what they've been looking for in everything else. Am I Catholic? Question mark, italicized, like seriously, am I really Catholic? A struggle with faith, humility, and surrendering to God. It wasn't easy. But darn it, when God pulled me out of the pits of hell almost 10 years ago this coming Easter, my life completely changed. I just put up a video about my confession experience, but then it became me sharing it with everyone and telling everyone what was going on. And in the beginning, yes, I made mistakes. And I didn't come from a heart of love. I came from more like a heart of a teacher. And I didn't share some of the intimate moments and the things that I came across. Instead, I was just trying to convince people. And recently, I handed my book, available on Amazon, and I also recorded it. So for those of you who just don't read and like to listen, narrated by me. So go check it out. Amazon, it's in Kindle, it's hard copy, and also Audible. But I digress. So I handed a book to a gentleman who sits in my section every single Sunday. And I thought, I don't know why I feel this prompting, but after almost 10 years, I know the Spirit. I know when I'm supposed to do things, and I know when I'm not supposed to do things. It's a beautiful discernment that all of us should be working on, so we know God's voice, our voice, or Satan's voice. Well, as we walked out, he happened to walk down the street where my car was parked, and I jumped out of the car. I said, "Hey, I just want to give you something." Grabbed my book from the back seat, which I always have with me, and I handed it to him, and I introduced myself, and he introduced himself, and we didn't see each other for 5 months. And I thought, oh my goodness, what did I do? Did I totally kick this guy out of this church? Like he doesn't want to see me anymore? Did he think I was hitting on him or something? Like I felt so bad. I thought about him over and over and over again. And I never saw him at Mass until today. And he was actually sitting right where I normally sit. Typically, he'd be 2 rows back. So I really didn't want to bother him because, again, I thought that I turned him off so much that he went to another church, went to a totally different parish. But I sat 2 rows behind him, and at the end of the Mass, he came up to me and said, "Kendra," and we shook hands, and he's like, "Hey, I just didn't want you to think that I dropped off the face of the earth. I ended up meeting someone from 25 years ago and we reconnected, and I've been going downtown to Mass there. He said, I was here a couple of months ago, but if you remember, I took this big long trip with my husband and we were kind of gone for a while. And so I wasn't there when he came back. I told him, oh my gosh, you have no idea how happy I am to see you. And we talked for a good 10, 15 minutes. And it was beautiful. It was us helping each other on the journey. He said he's been sharing my book. He said he actually went out with someone in IT who knew me because I used to be a chief information officer before I left everything to share Catholicism and Jesus with the world. And my heart just melted. And while we were talking, he was saying, I got a bunch of goosebumps while we were talking. And it was truly a God moment. We don't see these things sometimes, everyone. We drop that seed, or we think we dropped that ball. We think we said something that really pushed someone away to another parish. That's kind of what I was thinking. And I thought, oh no. But look, it wasn't that. And God showed me in an amazing way. 5 months I've been thinking about this person and thinking, what did I do? Should I have not done that? Sure enough, he even said, I'm not a reader, and I cannot believe I actually read your book. That's one thing I honestly, sorry, I keep showing this. It's so easy. Look, big print, not heavy duty stuff, and it's not that long. I wrote the book with you in mind and me in mind because I don't have time to read, and I wanted it to be easy. It's not heavy. I'm not pulling out Bible verses or anything. I'm just sharing my journey in a funny, raw way. You might cry, you might laugh. Those types of things are on my review on Amazon. I didn't want someone to be pushed off by me trying to catechize them. I wanted them to hear about how I started learning about Catholicism and why it impacted me so much, enough to leave my professional career that I took decades to build. So what is the point of this video? Don't be afraid to share Jesus, but share from the heart, which is exactly what I did to this gentleman. I gave him my book because I thought he's on a journey, and I want him to know that I'm on a journey. My journey from the beginning is quite different than where I am right now, 10 years later, but it's still a journey. And we need people to walk together on the journey. So I'm just letting you know that God will be doing some things with those seeds that you drop. You may find out in this life, or you may find out on the other side, hopefully in heaven, if you're still living according to God's commandments and going to confession. I will put down below in the description a link of my confession video, which helps you go in case you're one of those who hasn't gone in a long time. Because maybe someone put a seed in your heart for you to move closer to God and His church, which is the Catholic Church, with these beautiful sacraments that help us with our life. I don't know what I would do without the Eucharist. Speaking of which, today, I just bawled when I received Him. If you are not having these moments where you are truly walking up knowing that it is Jesus Christ that you are receiving into your soul, your spirit, your mind, your body, then you're kind of missing the boat. We could talk about that another time, but man, oh man, just bawling. So grateful for my faith that God gave me that I was not looking for. You'll find out again in the book if you want to check it out. I wasn't looking for God. I don't have anything to do with God, certainly not the Catholic faith. So I feel when it's time to share that I have so much that people can relate to. And I'm not afraid to share anymore. That has been the beautiful thing that God has given me, is this detachment from the world. I really don't care what people think about me. Why? Because I only live for an audience of one, Jesus. And if I'm living for Him, then I know that that's all I have to worry about. I don't need to be worried about what anyone thinks of me, good, bad, or indifferent. I have to let it all go. So do not be afraid to share your love. Do not be afraid to share your faith. Just share it with a heart that is intended to help someone, to love someone. No judgment, no argument that you want to win, no kind of selfish agenda or motivation. Just love that person, which is exactly what I did to this individual. And I am so grateful that God showed me after 5 months of wondering what in the world is going on. What a day. What a God. What a faith. Alrighty, everyone, go be love. I hope that your Lent is going great. We are approaching halfway. If you have fallen off the wagon, get back up. Do not give up. That is the journey. It's an awesome journey. And by the way, it goes on for the rest of our lives. So if you fall off, it's time to get back up. Don't wait. And run to confession. Again, the link down below will help you go through that process, find confession where you live, and actually make it a beautiful moment with God where you're reconciled, eyelash to eyelash with the Lord. Who doesn't want that? Where you can receive His graces and the courage and the words and be inspired by the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit within you, to share the love that you receive through this beautiful Catholic faith and your relationship with Him. Oh, it's so awesome. Alrighty, everyone, I love you all. Find something more with God, soul, mind, and body, and have a blessed and inspired day.